Welcome back to Upper 90. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Justin and I'm a US soccer journalist mainly covering LAFC, who we will talk about later because today I'm going to identify one player that your Western Conference team needs to sign before the season starts. And we will start, of course, with Austin FC, who scored a ton of goals last year, led by, of course, Sebastian Driussi, and now they've signed Giassi Zardes as their striker this offseason to score even more goals. But that was not their issue last year. Of course, their issue was defensively, where they have now lost Ruben Gabrielsen as he went back home to Norway, and they did sign Leo Vasanen, but for a team that was 5th in expected goals conceded last year, Austin will definitely need more help defensively, and for that, I advocate that they sign John Anthony Brooks. Most of you will know Brooks from his time with the US men's national team, and in my opinion, he should have been in Qatar. But instead of coming to MLS last season as a free agent, he decided to go to Benfica, where he has gotten a total of 2 league minutes since joining. So it is definitely time for him to leave, and I think MLS is the best spot. With only 6 months left on his contract, I'm sure Benfica would take, I don't know, $500K from Austin FC, and you can bring him to MLS and form a quality center back core, and with all those dangerous attackers, Austin FC could definitely do some damage if they make this signing. Next up are Colorado Rapids, who are in talks to sign a center back and a central midfielder, but they are in desperate need of a left back, and for that I advocate they sign Danny Rose, who obviously has a ton of top flight experience in England, but has been out of contract since September after leaving Watford. And honestly, at 32 years old, MLS is the perfect spot for him. All he's ever cared about is playing time. We know the classic argument he had with Jose Mourinho on All or Nothing. But in Colorado, he will play 100% of the time, and if he's willing to live in Watford, I don't see why Colorado is any worse. FC Dallas are another team in need of defensive solidity after losing Matt Hedges to Toronto in the offseason. They brought in Sebastian Ibeagha, but in my opinion, that will not be enough. They need a ball-playing center back, as they are the slowest build-up team in the entire league. Center back ball progressors are key in their system, where Pomykal and Leggett want to receive these progressive passes on the half turn and really get at the opponent's defensive line, creating a lot of havoc, whether it be with assists or shots on goal. So the best logical option, in my opinion, is 29-year-old ALFIE, who has been crushing it for Wycombe Wanderers in League One on loan from Fulham, who signed him for £15 million in 2018 because of his ability to play on the ball. However, he obviously hasn't lived up to expectations, and with his contract ending at the end of the season, I would assume that Fulham would want to recoup anything they possibly could on those losses. Houston Dynamo are a team who have done a lot of great business this offseason, but still have a long way to go. The only left back they have on their entire roster is Brad Smith, who they signed from DC United in the offseason, but he is injured and will not be ready to start the season, so they need another left back. I think they should sign Ronald Matarrita, who missed a lot of last season due to injury with FC Cincinnati, but is still, in my opinion, one of the best left backs in the league. And if Houston decide to sign Ronald Matarrita after signing Brad Smith, those are, in my opinion, the 2 best left backs who are available as free agents from MLS this offseason, and that would be a major statement on the ambition of the Houston Dynamo. Hey, what's up? YouTube tells me that the majority of you who watch my videos aren't subscribed, so let's fix that by hitting that subscribe button in 3, 2, 1, go. Thank you so much, and back to the video. Now it is time to talk about the reigning Supporters Shield and MLS Cup winners, LAFC, who I am going to find a Jose Cifuentes replacement for, as it is almost certain that he is headed out this offseason, which means a U22 initiative like-for-like replacement in that attacking midfield position that LAFC fans have been craving should be on the cards. My pick is 20-year-old Martin BATURINA, who has recorded 7 goal contributions in 13 matches this season after recording 7 goal contributions in 15 matches last season for Dinamo Zagreb in Croatia. This is a player headed to the top whether he uses MLS to get there or not, so how do the black and gold convince him to come to LA? Well, the first thing they've already done by winning the Supporters Shield and MLS Cup double, obviously players want to go to winning teams. The second piece is that they have to prove they can put him in a great position to reach that goal of the top 5 leagues when he succeeds at LAFC, and you do that by selling Jose Cifuentes to a good team in those top 5 leagues. He is currently linked with Brighton in the Premier League, which I'm not sure will go through, but if you can get anywhere near that level, it will benefit you in drawing these type of players. And third, and most importantly, he is Croatian. And the reason that's important is because LAFC recently signed another Croatian U22 initiative player named Stipe Biuk, a winger. But the ties go deeper than that, because Biuk, of course, came from Hajduk Split, and along with Zagreb, those are the two biggest clubs in Croatia. But BATURINA actually originally came from Hajduk Split as well, coming up through their academy. And so the two of them actually played in the Hajduk Split academy together from 2011 to 2015. They've also both risen through the Croatian youth national team system simultaneously, both making their U16 debuts in 2018 and then making their U21 debuts in 2021. And I'm sorry if this is not interesting to anybody else, but this is super interesting to me because I was actually in Croatia a few months ago and visited the Hajduk Split Stadium, where it was currently the off-season, of course, but I went over to the academy fields and watched some of the Hajduk Split academy players, which obviously is interesting to me because players like Biuk and BATURINA only a few years ago were on those pitches that I was watching. LA Galaxy are in a tough time right now with their crosstown rivals doing the double last season, and now their own supporters groups planning boycotts of games due to the re-signing of President Chris Klein. But they can solve all of their problems with one signing by the name of ISCO. Sure, it doesn't actually solve the problem of the relationship with the fans, but with Isco, Riqui Puig, and Chicharito on your team, you will put butts in seats, no questions asked. Not only that, you will return to being a winning club. Since Riqui Puig is somehow not a DP, you can give Isco that final DP slot and have him and Riqui Puig provide all of the chances for Chicharito and, in my opinion, Dejan Joveljic off of that bench. Minnesota United are in the market for a striker, and I think they should sign South Korean international Wee Ju Hwang, who of course went to Qatar with South Korea after scoring 11 goals and 2 assists in Ligue 1 last season. He is wanted by many MLS clubs at this moment, and if Minnesota can get the job done, it will be a huge signing for them, and I think that they are the team in most need of him. Portland Timbers are an extremely well-rounded squad, especially after dropping 10 million on Brazilian Evander from FC Midtjylland. However, Felipe Mora recently had surgery, and Niasgoda is, I don't know, bang average at best. Portland don't have any DP or U22 initiative slots left. In fact, they need to get rid of some of those, which makes this an even more difficult pick because you want the person to be a natural striker with the ability to also play out wide when Mora comes back, yet they can't be too expensive because they can't be a DP or a U22 initiative, and they need to be quality enough to play for Portland Timbers. The only person I can think of that fits this very specific mold is Colombian Frank Castaneda, who goes way under the radar because he plays in the most random of leagues like Slovakia, Moldova, and Thailand. Yet he has Champions League experience because the Moldovan team he played for was Sheriff Tiraspol, where in 2020-21 he had one of the most insane seasons I have ever seen in any league anywhere. He scored 33 goals and 16 assists in 42 matches. That is absolutely ridiculous. He is now a free agent, salary shouldn't be the issue, and he's in his prime at 28 years old. I would absolutely roll the dice on him if I was Portland. Real Salt Lake already signed Carlos Andres Gomez from Millonarios, which I think is one of the best RSL signings in a long time. And those of you who watch my videos know that I listed him at number 9 in my top 10 cheap young players in the world. And since I now know RSL are willing to spend and they have a DP slot open, I'm going to find Rubio Rubin a strike partner up top because they did bring in Danny Musovski from LAFC, who is a good option but will not have you at the top of the Western Conference. The striker I would try and sign is 30-year-old KEMAR, who is currently out of favor at Rangers due to the exceptional form of Kolak and Morelos. Nonetheless, he is a proven goal scorer in his career across multiple competitions, including in the Premiership for Rangers, where he has bagged 35 goals and 5 assists in his 76 matches across all competitions. Many of those were substitute appearances, so I would think that a DP contract in MLS would sound pretty good to KEMAR ROOFE right about now. San Jose Earthquakes are a team that are much better on paper than they perform on the pitch, but I expect new coach Luchi Gonzalez to solve that issue. Carlos Grueza looks like a certain signing, but that would be an extremely boring pick for me. So with Benji Kikanovic looking very likely to head to Ajax Athens with former coach Matias Almeida, I will look for his replacement. And I know that San Jose Earthquakes fans want to see some ambition from their front office, so I will absolutely be looking for a designated player. However, I also know that San Jose are not a team that are going to drop $10 million on a new DP, so I think they should sign 23-year-old left winger Dario SPIKIC, who has 4 goals and 4 assists in 16 matches this season for Dinamo Zagreb. If you could tell, I like Croatians. But he also has Champions League experience, and best of all, in my opinion, he is extremely versatile, which means that you can move him to the other side or in midfield, which allows you to start Cade Cowell and get him significant minutes and develop that elite talent you have in your squad. Seattle Sounders likely already have their starting 11 set for this season, and I think they have the deepest midfield in the league when healthy. But they do have a couple spots that could use strengthening because they only have 2 fullbacks and 2 wingers on the roster. So I will be looking for a player that's primarily a winger but can probably also play wingback in that Seattle system. Unfortunately, I don't have a DP or U22 initiative slot to work with, so there are limited options, but my pick is right winger Mehdi Zaremi, who spent last season in Ligue 1 with Bordeaux, where they got relegated and he really wasn't good enough to make an impact. But at only 23 years old, he has extreme upside, and as a free agent for Seattle, very little risk. So I say, why not take the chance on him? Sporting Kansas City are also a very well-rounded squad, with Polita and Kinda looking set to return at the beginning of the season after their terrible injuries last year. But there is one obvious hole. After Nicolas Isimet-Marin left in the offseason, Sporting Kansas City need another center back. In my opinion, the best and cheapest option would be Edgar Eye, whose contract with Trabzonspor expired in January and he is now a free agent. At 28 years old, I think he would be the perfect addition to Sporting Kansas City to solidify that defense and return them to MLS's elite. Expansion side St. Louis City already needed center back depth, but after losing their best center back Joachim Nielsen to injury in preseason, they really need some help. They do have a DP spot available, but my St. Louis people tell me that they're going to wait until the summer to fill that. For that reason, I believe St. Louis should sign 24-year-old center back Josh Earl, who has been Fleetwood Town's best player in League One this season as they sit 17th. I view League One as a very good league to find these cheap and underrated center back talents, and at only 24 years old, Josh Earl could be the future of St. Louis City at the back. Last but not least are Vancouver Whitecaps, who had the lowest possession numbers in the entire league last season, which wouldn't really be a problem if that was just their style of play like it is the Philadelphia Union. However, it's obviously not, as they had the second fewest expected goals last season and the third fewest goals scored. And now they've lost their striker Lucas Cavallini this offseason. In my opinion, Brian White is the definition of bang average. So they absolutely need some help up front. I believe they should go after ALBEPTH ELIS, who only has 1 goal and 1 assist in 16 Ligue 2 matches with Bordeaux this season after bagging 9 goals and an assist in Ligue 1 last season. He's also obviously MLS proven, having scored 35 goals and 24 assists in his 92 MLS matches. Plus, there are now rumors that he will return. The issue for Vancouver will be the financials, as he is a player used to a DP spot. But if they can find a way to swing it, I think they have to, because he is exactly what they need to avoid another disappointing season in 2023. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps out the channel. I will see you next time.